If you're like me, inspection cameras are not something you use on a daily basis, but they are also something that you believe you have to have in your shop because when you need it, they are absolutely priceless. You don't want to spend a ton of money on it. What I'm looking for is that baseline as to where you want to be with a standalone inspection camera. I want something that's not connected to my phone. I want that technology to be able to be used in different places. So I'm looking at the Ilihome P50. This is a dual camera inspection system, and the Teslong NTS300. This is a triple camera inspection system. We're looking at $70 some odd for the Illyhome and $170 for the Teslong. Now, if you're looking at both these, we're going to go over photo quality, what I can get in as far as a good picture or a video, how they work a little bit, just kind of compare what I'm getting. Stay tuned. Both of these cameras came with a 32 gig SD card. The Illyhome came in this small box, very tiny. The Teslong came in a large case, which is nice if you're going to carry this guy around or use it. I wouldn't say that it is a super nice case. It is a fairly cheap plastic case, but it is a case. When you turn these guys on, the Illyhome actually defaults to the dual camera mode, so you can look at both cameras at once. That is not a bad option. I like it. The Teslong is, I got my finger in the way, is simply just a single camera, and you can switch between the 3 different views. One thing that the Teslong has is a LED light up front that you can turn on that can help you see different areas. The Illyhome doesn't have that. The main thing with quality here, because I believe both of these feel more like toy plastic than tool plastic, is going to be in the actual scopes. The scope on the Illyhome does not want to bend and stay. As you can see, if I bend it and let it go, that has been a huge problem in trying to get inside an area and look at it, where the Illyhome has more of this bend it and it stays thing. And you can hit it and it's going to move a little bit. So when you're pushing it in on something, it's fairly solid compared to this guy, which it just, especially the longer you get it, it just wants to bend. That has been a big issue. So when you're spending the money here right off the bat, the quality has been huge in the actual scope. Now both of these have very long, I believe this is a 16 foot and this is a 12 foot-ish, and they're big and very long. If you were to get this out a long ways, and in fact while I was trying to get some of the pictures, you can see this guy just doesn't want to stay. It just wants to move and collapse back. Now if you're going down a pipe, maybe this would be better. I don't know. But general automotive stuff, the endoscope on the Teslong is much, much better. The first test I wanted to run was getting a picture of a model number on a hose. Pretty simple. Pretty easy. That's big writing. I took one with the Teslong, then I went back and had to kind of struggle a little bit to get the same picture with the Illyhome. And it was a matter of screen size and placement on the screen. I couldn't get the right angle, mostly because of how flimsy this cable is. It's not horrible, but it was harder to get and see. Although if you look at the 2 pictures, you might see that the Illyhome is a little bit more crisp. From there, I wanted to move on and just try to get the model number off the oil filter. Something very simple and easy. It should be super easy, especially with a dual camera system or even a triple camera system. And I'll have to admit again, the Teslong was very easy to get into place and see it, because the cable was stiffer, and when I moved it, it moved in the right directions. But the picture quality here is mediocre. I really can't read the writing. And I worked hard to get the Illyhome in the right place. It just wouldn't get there. But when I had to reach my hand in deeper and hold everything to get the right picture, which you wouldn't be able to do in many situations, the picture actually came out quite well. The issue I had taking the picture is if I didn't have my hand in there all the way holding it, I would get the end of the camera bouncing around a lot and I would get a blurry or fuzzy picture. So not good on both sides as far as that. I want to move on to a video just to see what you can see inside and how everything works. Now the Teslong did great on the video. Video quality is supposed to be 1920 by 1080 and that's on the screen. It might be a little less for video recording. It's still grainy and it's dark in there, but at the same point it did turn out, and it did turn out fairly well. It's not super shaky, although when you're moving around you get some shakiness and things like that. Now the video quality on the Illyhome I can't get to come up on my computer. It tells me that the file is either corrupt or not supported, but it is an MOV file, so that doesn't make sense. So I'm going to work on that. Hopefully I can get it so you guys can see it, but I can tell you that the video quality is not great because the camera is just shaking around down there so much that it is really hard to see what's going on, especially when you get deeper into the machine. Yet at the same point, I was still able to read some of the items, like the filter number, a little bit better through the screen, at least on the Ilihome. So when in use, the Teslong is really easy to understand. We have the different modes that we can go through. That's picture mode, video mode, and then this is going to be a playback mode of what I had. Super simple. We have a bunch of settings that are very, very simple. We can go through and just set very minimal things up. There's not a lot to happen here. If we want to take a picture, we just push the button. If we want to take a video, we switch modes. So it says video mode, we push the button, it starts, tells you down there. We can stop that. And if we want to switch cameras, we can basically just push the button on top of the camera and it goes to one side, goes to the other, and then back. Very simple. It's easy to use in many situations, and I think that this is probably one of the better ones that I've ever used as far as simplicity. If we want to change the brightness on the camera, we can just do that there. Just scroll through. Very easy, good picture quality, and simple to use. I like that part. As far as anything else on here, charging is on the side port along with your memory stick. So it's easy and the picture quality is great. I can see different colors. That's some yellows in there and some blues. With this setup the way it is, I can show you how it works pretty easily. Let's try to do the same thing with the Ilihome. Here's where we're going to struggle, is that getting this guy in here and not resting up against something is going to be tough. But we're just going to put it in place here. I guess see if we can look at something decent. There we go, sort of. So the picture quality here is great. We got a bolt. We can see some good colors. We'll push the M button. It'll switch us over from one camera. We get a little bit larger view. Switch over to the other camera. Perfect. We can look at both, which is great. Now if we want to take a picture, we just push the button, and you have to watch really quickly on here. It just flashes that it took a picture. If you want to take a video, you push and hold, and then the timer shows up on top. Very simple. If we want to stop, we just push the button. No big deal as far as what's going on here. If we want to rotate the screen, we can rotate. Both of them do that well. As far as settings, you have a lot of different settings here for video, the different resolutions, formatting, all kinds of things that maybe are a little bit more advanced than the Teslong, but most of them are unneeded. They both do pretty much the same thing. It's just a matter of, you can turn on your timestamp, turn it off. The other one is just designated that it's on. Little weird things like that. The thing that you can't do on this while you're recording is switch screens. When you can do that on the Teslong, you can switch between different cameras while you're recording. This one, you can record two screens at the same time, but you can't switch between them. But I have to say on this, even if we adjust the lighting a little bit here on the side dial, you have a really clear screen. And it's small and harder to get in places, but the screen shows up quite well and very vivid. No matter how you shake this out, no matter what we're looking at here, the biggest difference between the two of these models is going to actually be the scope and what holds it in place. Without a steady tube here that you can lock into place or move to the right angle, it is next to impossible to get a good picture, especially if it's a longer distance away. The fact that the Illyhome won't stay in certain positions and is really hard to get straight and likes to waver around quite a bit even when you're holding it steady, especially if you're a little bit shaky, makes it almost impossible to use in most places. So in this case, I'm going to say no doubt if you were to look between these two, the more expensive one is the way to go, simply because of this. I mean, you can make it do what you want to do, and that is super important. Other than that, the way the two models work and the way the two models actually put video together, they're so close that for someone like me who doesn't use this every day could get by with either one. So if we're looking at different models, I think the biggest thing to try to look at is going to be the tube or the cord, whatever you want to call this, that is going to hold the camera. And if you can get this same type of inspection camera system like that, I think you'd be in business at just about any model. Something that we've never really seen before is this kind of cord that doesn't really hold its structure, and I've never used one like this, and I would never buy one or recommend one like this due to that system, but everything else worked well. If you needed something like that where you had to shove this through a pipe and you needed a very, very flexible system that you wouldn't get caught up in something and then stop moving because you don't have the ability to continue to push, this might work really well. It would have to be a very clean tube that was going down and something that you wouldn't take a lot of power, because once you got in 6-8 feet, this thing's just going to want to snake itself in and stop moving. So either way, guys, thought this was interesting to take a look at. Hopefully we can get the video files working from the Illyhome, but that is another downside. If you can't get the video files to work and it says they're corrupt, then what good's that to you? Either way, give us a like to this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.